Hello and welcome to BQ Pramam Hiraldaria. Overall, if you see in terms of markets, we are off days low but trading with a negative bias. Interesting fact that we need to watch out for is that Nifty has actually fallen below the budget day low of around 17,353 and it's broken key support levels. Now, what this actually means for the markets, joining us on the show to discuss the same is Jai Bala, founder and chief market technician at Cash for Chaos. Jai, welcome to the show and a very good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, Hiral.
Jay, my first question coming to you is overall today we did break budget day low as well. However, we have seen a recovery and we're trading at levels of around 17,400. What does this actually mean for the markets?
See, I've been negative on the market for some time now, and the fact that the budget day low gave way isn't of surprise to me. In fact, earlier this week, I had anticipated the break of budget day low, and we're going to see short-term bounces for the markets, which is going to be fleeting, and probably the markets will stay below 17,600 and 17,700. And what we saw this week, we're going to see a continuation of that. That's my working thesis for the moment. And we are. I know I had done a presentation for BQ Prime in 2021 in January, where I had said, this is the start of a deep bull market correction, and that is still continuing. It's just that the market confused the market participants by going above the then record high of 18,604, and then it's just come back down. It's a very classic technical pattern. It would have trapped a lot of people, but that continuation is still happening. So from a medium-term perspective, this is a bull market correction. It's going to get much more deeper, but from a long-term perspective, the bull market is intact.
Right. So, Jeff, from a short to medium term perspective, what's the option data actually indicating? Because, yes, we've seen that 17,600 call strike is holding a sizable open interest. So, one is, are we getting an indication, yes, that the upside will be capped? And on the downside, what is that immediate support that we see?
Yeah, fair question. Yeah. As I said earlier, 17,600, 17,700 zone is pretty important for the short term. I think the short-term bounces will get capped below that. And from a support point, given the market broke below the budget day low, the next significant support comes only at about 16,750. So, something like 17,100 are all very moderate support, not a significant support. The significant support for the short term below the budget day low is about 16,750.
Right. Apart from that, in terms of Bank Nifty as well, if you see, we've seen a broad range in today's session in that range of 39,745 to almost a high of 43,46, right? Now, overall, if you see, there has been a sizable future open interest addition. Now, what is that range indicating in terms of Bank Nifty as well? Because either sides, there is a possibility that we could see a break, a break on either of the sides. So currently taking the positivity in today's session into consideration, do you think it's a positive upside that we are seeing?
I wouldn't think so, Hiral. See, the Bank Nifty has got something else that's coming. I'll come to that. The short-term resistance is about 41,560. Given the fact that Bank Nifty is outperforming the extreme short-term by holding the budget day low, while Nifty broke through it, it's just an extreme short-term pattern, not even a short-term pattern. The reason I'm saying that is, if you look at the India 10-year yields, it's just crossed about 7.4. And that's an important technical pattern breakout that's happening. And from a very short-term perspective, I expect fresh 52-week highs for the Indian 10-year yields. And from a medium-term perspective, I have an objective about 8.5 to 9.25 for the Indian 10-year yields. So when the bonds yields go up, the bond prices are going to drop. That's going to have a bearing on the banking stocks.
Right. And if you talk about individual banking stocks as well, you have the likes of a Bank of Baroda, ICICI Bank, Kotak, Federal, SBI. In fact, the top 5 gainers in terms of Nifty 50 coming from the banking space today. What's the sense that you pick up from an F&O perspective as well? Is it time to, is there a strategy to still go long on these names?
Yeah, if your time frame is just something like 1 to 2 day time frame, maybe there's a long strategy that's going to play out, and something like an ICICI can try to test the resistance at about 880. But from a slightly higher time frame, I would say the significant banks which have significant weights in the banking index like ICICI and SBI have a long way to go. I wouldn't be surprised if from a say 6 to 8 months, 6 to 9 months perspective, if ICICI and SBI halve from their peak value, that's the medium to long term setup on ICICI Bank and SBI. So be very careful when you're playing this out. Keep it for the extreme short term on the long strategy. Don't even keep it for the short term.
Right. So that's with regards to, the banking names as such in terms of Nifty as well. Moving on, Power Grid, that's been an interesting counter. The stock is up as well in today's session. What's the view that you have on a Power Grid?
Yeah, quite a few power names, have unfinished upsides to work with, and Power Grid is one of them. And particularly, PSU power stocks, they have little more upsides to work with. But I wouldn't take this as an investment call. It's just the market is finding some short-term value, I would say that. So that's the limited upside there in power stocks. They have a limited high pending above the January high they made.
Right. Overall, if you see, Jay, in terms of Tata Steel, the stock is down really 3%. Open interest, if you see in terms of, it's almost a 5.5% addition that we're seeing in today's session so far. We'll have to wait for the overall numbers to settle in. But what's the strategy with regards to a Tata Steel at your end?
See, Nifty Metals Index, has gone below an important support at about, I think, if my memory is right, it's about 5,600. 5,600, has given way, and and most of the metals are likely to see further correction. And if you look at base metals from the COMEX, as well as an aluminum and copper, they are showing considerable amount of weakness. So they will have a bearing on steel stocks and copper stocks like Hindalco. So be very careful. The index itself has broken important support. So the top weights like Tata Steel and Hindalco are likely to be a drag in the coming days to come.
Right. In terms of Ashok Leyland as well, the open interest addition is pretty strong in today's session. A marginal uptick is what we are seeing in terms of the stock price. Auto as a whole has been under pressure today. What would you make of an Ashok Leyland?
See, for the last 7 months, the auto stocks have been within the range of 12,500 to 13,500 with respect to the Nifty Auto Index. And within that, stocks like TVS Motors and Ashok Leyland have been slight outperformers. I would say slight, but they are coming in for profit booking. So, but relatively speaking, TVS Motors and Ashok Leyland are the better off space. I won't say these are space to hide, but within the sector, it's a relative outperformer, and they are coming in for profit booking. And as long as the index stays about 12,500 on a closing basis, I think there may be a short-term long play here, but it's not a significant upside for either of these two stocks that I've mentioned.
Right. Jay, what's your view with regards to a Motherson Sumi? Though the stock is under pressure in today's session, if you see in terms of the overall open interest addition as well, that has been pretty strong. The stock has been an underperformer in the last 4 trading sessions as well, with cuts of around 4.5% to 5%. Do you think you're seeing some bit of buying interest from here on? And if yes, at what levels would you advise to book profits?
See, Motherson is not a great stock to look at, and as you rightly pointed out, it's been a deep underperformer from 2022, and it's just seeing a corrective uprise to the recent move from 60 odds. But this could probably have come to an exhaustion point at about 84. And it could be, I'm not too sure if it's a continuation of the decline that started from 140 to 60 odds, or if it's just a short-term pullback to this rise from 60 to 84. So needs a little more clarity here. As long as it stays above 72, I would think it's bullish.
Right. So that's with regards to Motherson Sumi. What's the view that you have with regards to a Bharti Airtel? I mean, there's no clear chart that has come in terms of a Bharti Airtel in the last 1 year. But clearly, if you see in today's session, the open interest addition again is very strong. Stock is down around 0.7% as we speak, and there is news to the company as well. What would you advise to do with the Bharti Airtel?
Yeah. Bharti had a significant support at 750, and today's it saw an intraday dip below that, but it's trying to manage to trying to close above that level, about 750. But in November, I had mentioned to another channel that it's seen a exhaustion at about 860 odds. So I would think this is just a part of the breakdown that's happening for the larger, broader market. And I think for the moment it's fighting to defend 750, but I think the trend is turning strongly down for the medium term.
Right. Moving on, maybe these are non-FNO stocks as well, but overall, if you see another company which has been seeing major pressure is a Uflex. The stock is down almost for 7 consecutive sessions. Again, these were on the back of the IT rates that were conducted. But what are charts indicating? Are we seeing further weakness? And if someone who's holding a Uflex, what would you advise the investor to do?
Did you say Uflex, Hira?
Yes, Uflex.
Okay, yeah. I think it's a bit late to book profits, and it's a very strongly downtrending stock. I would say, if you are holding the stock and if you're not gotten out, I would tend to think that you should use any rallies that's come up as an exit opportunity. It's in a very strong downtrend, and it's not, the charts aren't looking positive here.
Right. Similarly, how are you looking at a Z Entertainment? It's out of FNO in terms of the currency series, but overall, there has been pressure. Stock is down almost 15% now in the last 1 month, but majority of the weakness has come in over the last 4 to 5 trading sessions.
Yeah, 180 is a very significant support for Z Entertainment, and it's managing to stay above that for the last 3 sessions. But the momentum is quite strong for Z. So, I would say 210 to 220 is likely to cap upsides here. It's on a bounce. It might be a candidate to go short.
Right. So that's with regards to Z Entertainment. Another one on the charts is an Electra. That has been pretty strong over the last 2 to 3 trading sessions. If you see Electra, the kind of up move that we've seen today as well, around 11 to 12% is the kind of up move. Are we seeing further strength? And if so, would it be a buy candidate at current levels?
I'm sorry, I don't have my charts in front of this. I haven't looked at these charts for quite some time, and I don't think I have a call on that.
Right. Jay, anything on a macro tech developers, which is Lodha?
Yeah, you see, it's just a short-term corrective move. It had a consolidation for several weeks between 1120 to 920. It's seen a breakdown below that, and it's coming back to test the former support of about 825, 830. The momentum there is also strong on out to the downside. So I would suggest bounces to 920, 960 as exit opportunities.
Right. Jay, apart from that, IT stocks have been seeing good strength in the last 1 month. Any names that emerge as good buy calls from the IT space, specifically the mid-cap ones, because companies like Sonata Software, Cyient, Coforge have seen some good moves?
That's right. I've been bullish on IT names for from October of last year, and Coforge, in fact, it's not living up to its potential. But I would say, it's got potential to even do what Persistent and KPIT have done in the past. If it were to take out 4600, I think it'll go to record highs. So this is a bullish bet, and the stock needs to stay above 3850 to 3800. If it does that, I think the recent negotiated block deal that it had to the downside, even that will get taken out, and it's looking bullish. But from a sector's perspective, the frontline names aren't looking positive. If the IT index, goes below 29,500, that won't be a sign of strength. But these mid-cap names can outperform the frontline names.
Right. And apart from the names that we've discussed, any stocks that catch your eye that an investor should look at from a tomorrow's trading day perspective?
Yeah, you might want to look at something like an IEX. If IEX stays above 132, I think it's still bullish, but that's a slightly higher time frame call. But it's had a short-term breakout and pulled back. I think that's a important stock to look at on the long side.
Right. So that's another counter we should be watching out for from tomorrow's session. Thank you, Jay, so much for joining us on the show and giving us those views and what levels we should be watching out for in terms of Nifty as well as Bank Nifty from here on as well. Thank you and stay safe. But overall, if you see in terms of where markets are concerned, clearly we did hit a budget day low in today's session. And right now around 17,392 is where Nifty 50 is trading at. Below, we are below the 17,400 mark with cuts of around 0.4%. A clear divergence coming in with regards to Nifty as well as Bank Nifty as well in today's session. Bank Nifty incidentally is up around 1%. We're above the 40,300 mark with regards to Bank Nifty as well in today's session. Overall, if you see in terms of the Sensex, that's an interesting move as well. Though we are down in today's session, we are below that 59,300 mark overall in terms of the Sensex. So this is a 7th consecutive session in a row where, you know, markets have extended losses, and it's mainly the bears that have gone ahead and taken the negative baton in hand as well. Except real estate as well as banking names, all the sectoral indices are actually trading in the negative. So it's mainly metals, media, IT, and auto. These are the sectors which are seeing a major downtick in today's session. Kotak Mahindra Bank, ICICI Bank, SBI, as well as HDFC Life are the top gainers in terms of Nifty 50, whereas Adani Enterprises, Bajaj Auto, UPL, as well as Tata Steel are few of the top losers in terms of Nifty 50 as well. Overall, yes, the pressure has continued in today's session. We did hit and go below the budget day low as well, and that was levels of around 17,353. Now, which direction the markets take is going to be an interesting move, because everyone is watching out for the impact of El Nino in terms of markets, and that is one of the major overhangs that we are looking at. We will get you more coverage in terms of what that would actually mean from a climate perspective, from consumption perspective, as well as its impact on various companies as well as various sectors. That's all that we have in today's session. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.